In relation to data, okay. So I think that we have seen, I could talk about a million different data points. Honestly could. So I think that we could talk about, I think the teacher collective efficacy piece is just critical. I think that our data, that there was a data point that asked whether or not teachers felt that the school had improved in the last couple of years. Um, that response was 100%. And like
And
that's
I
pretty much,
believe
I've
when
never
you had
seen
asked that question previously, wasn't it around
5.
60-65%? Yeah.
So last year
Oh,
was 65, this year is 100%.
wow.
When we asked teachers whether or not students had access to the supports that they needed,
Mhm.
I think it was 98%. It was very high. Again, something I've never seen before in any of those responses. So I think that that speaks really highly to the sense of collective efficacy.
Mhm.
I think that and to the ability and the access students are having to tier 3 supports in the building, which is also, fairly uncommon, at a middle school or junior high level. So I think that that is a huge part of the data pieces. When we look at student achievement data, um, around literacy, we're seeing, really strong, like ridiculously good growth. Really, I mean, we're talking upwards of 25 to 30% improvement, um, for vocabulary, for reading comprehension. So really high that, and that I think is really speaks to uh, the teams really being on the same page and having those consistent collaborations and conversations and being able to do that co-planning with the lens of literacy, with the lens of improving these areas. I think that when we look again, I spoke to about the well-being data being so strong for the nines. I think that when we reflected on why are the nines here and the sevens maybe aren't quite there yet. And I think that when we look at that, it is around the nines were rock star collaborators. Um, they were really focused on the task design. They really ran with the literacy work that we were doing. And I think that we see that in the fact that students are able to feel connected. They had great tier 2 supports in the classroom tier 1, but also great and improved tier 2 supports. So students were able to access the learning and engage in the learning and connect with the learning in a way that, maybe that they hadn't before, or that we're still working on developing in some of the other teams. So I think that the data is really strong in
Mhm.
showing that, but I also think there's also that, perception data is that teachers understand and get it. They understand how all these pieces play together. They understand that collaborative response is not just a team meeting we have once a month, that it is about creating an ecosystem really of meeting student needs and student success, and that there is this kind of everything has a part and it's balanced.
Mhm.
And I think that, a huge part of that success is because Andrea has really managed to kind of put her money where her mouth is, so to speak, and create the structures, and then also staff to support those structures and staff to support that ability to support tier 3 needs, because again, that's a huge piece of it as well.